Everybody, what's going on? So today is August 20th, 2019. Let me start off by saying I'm exhausted. I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep, so if I because I'm running on empty. So anyway, but we're here. So I promised to get a video out. Um, so let's see what happens here. Every time I start a video, it seems a truck or a motorcycle or a tractor or something comes flying by. And I hear a car coming right now, actually. Always happens. So, yep, car's going to come by. All right, and then, of course, the mosquitoes should show up here. Show up pretty soon, also. But anyway, it looks like we got 5 people watching. We got a thumbs up already. Thanks, guys, for doing that. Really appreciate it. Um, as always, we always appreciate the thumbs up, the comments, the subscribing, everything you guys do to support us. We absolutely appreciate it. We just like to give back as much as we can for doing that. Another apology. I know I haven't had a video out. Oh man, it's been over a week. I know that, and the reason being is last weekend was the Onekama tournament, the Onekama salmon tournament, and we were fishing it, and so were a lot of our friends in other boats, and we didn't want to break that cardinal rule of throwing a fishing report out before a tournament. It's one of those kind of unwritten rules that you just don't do. So we didn't do that, not just for our sake, but for a lot of other people's. So I hope you understand. Thank you for your patience. And hey, let's talk about the tournament again a little bit. We did pretty good. 30 some boats. We ended up finishing fourth overall and sixth place in the 333. Which was a nice weekend for us. We ended up having the second biggest fish of the weekend as well. We had the overall biggest fish after day one. We were in second place after day one, and then it slipped a little bit. We just didn't get a really good day two put together, and sometimes that happens in tournaments. But yeah, we put a 28.9 pound king in the box on day one. Total weight day one was like around 75 pounds, I think, something like that for 5 fish. And I think another 10 bites, but we could only get 4 fish in the boat. We just, hey, thanks guys. Hey, how you doing? Nice job, thank you. We could only get 4 fish in the boat on day two. It was one of those things. Get them to hit, and couldn't keep them on. And if you've never had that happen, you haven't fished long enough, because it's going to happen on some days. Some days they're just escape artists. And we use top quality hooks, line, you name it. We all run really good stuff on the boat, and sometimes they come off. Read reports on Chi-Town Angler. Hey, thanks, appreciate that. Chi-Town Angler, I've heard of that website. Yeah, somebody mentioned that in the past, actually. So that was Onekama last weekend. What worked for us last weekend? Quite a few things. We fished really deep. We went almost straight out of Onekama to 400 to 500 foot of water. It's been challenging fishing recently. Hang in there, yeah, no doubt. But yeah, we went we really worked anywhere from like 400 to 500 foot of water both days on the tournament. This road is quiet all day long, and I'm telling you, since I started the video, 3 cars have gone by. It happens every time. I'm a car magnet on these things. But anyway, yeah, we fished really deep. Spoon bite was really the ticket on both days. Like I said, I can't remember how 10 or 12 bites on day one, mostly on spoons. Riggers were really going good, 40 to 60 down. We didn't have hardly anything on flasher fly or meat rigs on the deep divers. Another car. Those just weren't working. But spoons on the riggers, spoons on of all things. We were marking some fish up high, and I knew there were some fish up high, so we decided to put a 3-color out with a double orange crush spoon on there, a Dreamweaver double orange crush, super slim, love those. And lo and behold, a 26-pound king hit that thing on a 3-color and pulled that board down like a bobber about 10 times, and it took us a good half hour to get that fish in, but we got it in. So that was a nice fish. Always kind of surprising when you fish out deep what you're going to run across. We got some really good steelhead too. Came across a 14-pound steelhead out there as well, and a couple other ones in the 10-pound range. Plenty of kings in the mid-teen range, and just really a fun tournament. Anyway, spoons that were working for us. Green Jeans, man, that thing is the Moonshine Green Jeans mag spoon. That thing is lights out. If you guys fish that, throw a thumbs up on there so I know, because it seems like that thing is working all the time for everybody. The Dreamweaver Mag, or I'm sorry, the standard size Dreamweaver green jeans is working really good too. What else is working? The original Moonshine, that spoon was working. The blue jeans is working. Bad Toad, trying to Blue Hulk, Green Hulk. It seemed like green was more the ticket over the weekend. That seemed to be what was really working for us. And what was really nice out of Onekama, we were the only boat. I mean, I couldn't see another boat almost as far as I could see. That was really nice to be out there all by ourselves. So I heard Manistee over the weekend. Some boats really had a hard time putting things together. Moonshine Green Flounder Pounder, yeah, that's another one. We run the Flounder Pounder Green and the Green RV, and that's a great spoon all the time, no doubt. Hey, thanks, Mark. So yeah, I heard Manistee kind of had a hard time, like they were having a hard time just putting anything in the boat. And that happens. One thing I'd like to try to think about when we're fishing is pressure. And I know Manistee was just getting pounded for the last, really all summer, but for the last couple 3 weeks, really pounded. And you think about it, 100 foot of water is pretty deep, but when you put 100 boats on top of him, Green Jeans on a Slider, great videos, thank you. Hey, thanks, man. But yeah, when you put 100 boats on top of fish, it doesn't matter how deep it is. You're gonna start spooking those fish. They're just gonna get over pressured. Especially when every boat's running 8, 10 lines, 6 lines, something like that, and they're just going to see lures all day long. They're going to hear that boat traffic, let alone the jet skis that come out there, the freighters that come through. Those fish are going to get spooked. And I think the more that an area gets pressured, the more I like to stay away from that area. And that was one of the things that led us up to we slipped out of Onekama. It was a 2-port tournament. You could go. Might have been 3. It was Manistee, Onekama, and it even might have been Arcadia also. But we elected to go out of Onekama, and there was only like a half dozen boats that went out of that port. But that's what we wanted. We wanted to get away from the heavy traffic. We wanted to get away from the pressure. We wanted to get out to some clean, kind of untouched water, and do our thing. We thought it'd give us the best chance, and it ended up working out in our favor. So we had a good weekend. Okay, so what's happening now out on Lake Michigan? How far back from the cannonball? 25 feet. That is normally my standard. Unless I'm going really shallow, and then I'll stretch it way, way back. And I know I talked about in another video the 100-foot rule. You always want to even out to 100 feet. So if your cannonball's down 50, put your leader back 50. If your cannonball's down 30, put your leader back 70. And that works. That's a great rule. I learned that a long time ago from a charter guy. But my standard leader on my on riggers is 25 feet. And I really don't vary from that too much. And that's just me. A lot of guys do it differently. The guys on our boat do things differently. That's just me. That's the way I do it. And it works normally. There's days I change it up a little bit, but that's normally what my go-to. So great question. Really good question. Where was I? What's going on right now? Manistee, we got a north wind coming in. We got a north wind coming in starting tomorrow afternoon. And I'm sure you guys remember me talking about this in the past. When that north wind comes in, it really can booger up the fishery in a hurry too. That water gets cold. All that water comes rushing down, the cold water. It floods in. It pushes the warm water around, and the water gets really unstable, and the fish tend to scatter. Even the lake trout, which are normally plentiful, tend to turn off on north winds for a few days. And starting tomorrow afternoon or mid-noon, somewhere in that time frame. So this is what I kind of expect. If you're going out tomorrow morning out of Manistee, Onekama in this area, I would go out and run your typical program. I'd go out and work 150 out to 300. If you can do an east-west troll and do a little search pattern, that's a great way to start. Or get on some fish. If you mark them, stay in that depth, do a north-south troll. Work the things that are working for you. Like I said, some of those spoons we talked about, or if you've had things on your boat that's working for you, work those things. That's going to probably work tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow afternoon is going to start changing. And my gut feeling is some of those big kings, some of those mature 4-year-old kings, they're going to come in and start going for the pier heads. And it's just that time of the year. It's going to happen. I would love it. I would love it if they'd stay out there for another year and get to be 40 pounds, but it's just not going to happen, and that's the way of it. So I expect some of them to run up the pier heads, run up the river. What was your top speed? I'm sorry, what was your top speed and speed at the ball working for you? Great question. I'll get back to that in just a sec. So yeah, I expect some of them to fly through the pier heads, shoot up the river. I don't think the majority of them are going to do that yet. We're the ones that we're catching right now, the adults, the matures, they're starting to turn dark. You know, they're starting to get that dark river tint, but they're not really dark yet. So I don't think a lot of them are ready to go. They still got the feed bag on out there. So I think a lot of them are going to hold back yet. I just don't think they're ready. And I think a lot of those fish are going to push out deep. That cold water tends to come in when it blows from the north, pushes up on the shoreline, and it sends the warm water out deep. And the fish are going to look for that more stable, um, warmer water. You know, they don't like to be in water. They swim a little bit and it's 70 degrees. They swim a little more and it's 50 degrees. They don't like that. They like to get in nice, stable water where they can feel comfortable, and you know, and you know, do whatever a fish does. So yeah, I think some are going to go up the river, but I think, hey Jeff, hello to you too. I think some are going to go out deep. So starting tomorrow evening, um, and we got our charter tomorrow morning, so we're going to run our normal stuff. But after that, I think we'll start going into our search grids where we start going out pretty deep, and by deep I mean like 400 plus, 500 plus, and see what we're marking out there. And don't get it in your head that just because you're in 500 foot of water, that you got to run everything way down deep. Just like this last weekend, we're fishing 500 foot of water, and our best bites were coming on riggers 30, 40 feet down. So don't think that it's going to have to be that way, because it's not. And you're going to find good steelhead out that way too. So anyway, that's what I think is going to happen. I think that's what our plan of attack is going to turn into after tomorrow afternoon for a few days. Start working that deeper water. Start doing that search pattern. If we get something going, who love your videos. Hello. Hey, thanks, Beehive. I appreciate that, man. Cool. Thank you. Um, I think that's what we're going to start doing. We're going to start doing that searching, get something going, get that pattern working, whether it be a color or a depth or a speed or all the above put together, and just wrap it all up into one and just keep doing that continuously. Um, Repetition is so important when you're salmon fishing. You know, if you're doing something that's working, man, don't change it. If you're doing something that's not working, don't be afraid to change it. Don't think you can't go out there and do these things. Anybody can go out there and catch these fish. It's a learning curve. I know that it's a learning curve to really get good at it, but really anybody can do this. I truly believe that. So don't if you're out there and you're getting discouraged, don't worry. It's going to turn around for you. You're going to get there. I promise you that. So yeah, that's going to be our plan. Now somebody asked just a few minutes ago. Let's see how my memory is. What was top speed and what was bottom speed? Top speed was almost the same as bottom speed on our fish hawk. Top speed was about 2.4, 2.5. Bottom speed was about the same. But when we got out deeper, and this is a great point. This is a great question actually. When we got out deeper, just want to say hello and thanks for showing us how to make flies. Hey, you're welcome. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Good evening from North Shore of Superior. Hey, welcome. Cool. So yeah, top speed was almost the same as bottom speed, 2.4, 2.5. But we found as we got out deeper, if we bumped that speed up, for some reason the fish out there deep, they wanted a faster speed that day. And we learned that from making turns. And our outside boards would go off, or our outside dipsies would go off, because they're going faster if they're on the outside. And we kind of caught on that, and we utilized that, and it worked out well in our favor. So we figured out pre-fishing, and then over the weekend, the fish really wanted a little bit faster speed. So that was cool. Glad we caught on to that. And that's those little things you need to pay attention to. It can turn like a 2-fish day into a 10-fish day pretty quick. So yeah, I'm not going to change a whole lot in regards to baits and presentations just because of the north blow. I'm still going to run what's been working. If it ain't broke, I'm not going to fix it. I'm still going to run those spoons that we talked about, green jeans, blue jeans, the hulks, dancing anchovy, Mongolian beef, the orange crush on the high lines, you know, the like 2 and 3 colors, 4 colors, things like that. I'm still going to run those things. I'm still going to run some Dreamweaver meat rigs down. Loving the green mile right now, loving the green gas, loving the pickled sunshine meat rigs right now. They are taking fish, not like bang, 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 but they are taking fish. You know, if one rig is putting 1 fish in the box for you a day, that's a good rig. If it's putting 2 fish in the box, that's a great rig. You know, don't overlook that. If it's not working, like I said in the past, don't be afraid to change those things. Plugs, Some boats are getting a few on plugs, some are not. Mongolian Beef RV Down 50 was good yesterday. That's a great spoon, no doubt about it. But plugs around here, some boats are getting them, some boats aren't. We didn't have a plug bite all weekend, and we didn't. I think we only had a couple pre-fishing as well. Um, and that, for whatever reason, that's the way it is. So we just didn't run them. What flash with the pickled sunshine? There's quite a few that I like, but if I was to pick one, it would be the Kevin's Girlfriend 10-inch Dreamweaver Spin Doctor. That thing is fantastic with the pickled sunshine meat rig. Great question. Um, so yeah, plugs were kind of off, but that comes and goes, and there might be some days we go out there and plugs are just the ticket, and that's the way it goes also. Flasher fly, we did have a couple bites on flasher fly. One was an 8-inch Spin Doctor, and it was a custom jobby that I made up a couple of years ago. It had, I can't remember. I think it was pearl tape on one side, maybe a green Mountain Dew on the other side, and I had a Silver Addiction fly behind it. And that thing went a couple times. So that stayed in the water most of the weekend. See, what else do I want to talk about here? What do you guys got for questions? What do you want to know? Yeah, not trying to change the subject, but how is the captain's license going? Hey, thanks for asking. Going great. Passed all my tests. In the process, got done with the first aid section. I just got to go in for the background check, which I'm not worried about one bit, and the physical. And send the paperwork in and send the Coast Guard their money, and they'll send me back my license. You know, I'm not looking to get it right away. We got all winter, and you know, next year is when I'm looking to probably start putting some charters out there. And you know, I'll let you guys know, you guys and gals know when I start doing that. And if anybody's interested, you know, I'll start up a website or Facebook or something, and we'll get that going. I've been having luck with smaller spoons on sliders, mini streak. I missed the rest. I'm sorry. Yeah, sometimes sliders. If you don't know what a slider is, when you put your downrigger line down to the cannonball, we make like about a 6 to 9 foot leader, 2 swivels on both ends. One goes on your downrigger line, one goes not on the cannonball line, but on your actual mono line. I like to book a. Oh, cool. All right, we'll get that going. But yeah, so one goes on your downrigger line, obviously going down your bait, and then the other one on a spoon. And those slider lines hover right in between really your main line and the top depth. Great presentations. Steelhead loves sliders, love them. And so if I'm in an area where I know steelhead are really active, I'll put something down like a naked Jordo or a steely stomper or something like that, or a riverside spoon. Those are all really good. There's a bunch of really good steely spoons out there, but I'll put those down on my sliders, on my riggers. Man, and if you get steelhead going on your sliders, that is an absolute blast, because you're gonna have your hands full reeling as fast as you can. When talking about speed without a probe, learning what learning to read dipsies might mean. Yeah, man, I wish I could. That's like an hour-long conversation right there. But in a nutshell, you're looking at the bend in your dipsy rods. You're looking at how they're cutting through the water. You're looking at the blowback on the cannonballs when you're running your downriggers. You're looking for those speed indicators, how far those lines or those rods are bending back, how far the balls are blowing back. You're looking for that information to tell you if you're going too fast, too slow. You know, typically I like a pretty stiff bend in my dipsy rods, but if I'm blowing out my dipsies, if they're releasing all the time, or if it looks like they're really straining, you know, I know I'm going way too fast. You know, it takes experience to learn how to read dipsies and downriggers. You know, my recommendation, and I know they're expensive, but you can just throw all that to the wayside. I mean, it's good to know that stuff. Don't get me wrong. It's good to know that stuff as backups for sure, because sometimes we get way too dependent on electronic gadgets. I know that. But man, I really go out and get a fish hawk. Go out and get an X4D. Those things are absolute game changers out there on the water. They truly are. Knowing what your speed is down at the ball with your lures, man, that is absolutely vital knowledge for you to know about. Because you might be running, you're running 2.5 miles an hour on the surface. You're thinking, man, my speed is great. Hog Wild and Jaeger Bomb, Double Orange Crush for Steelhead, absolutely great ones. But yeah, so you're cruising along, you're thinking, man, 2.5 miles an hour, my speed is great. That's exactly what I want. But little do you know, down below, there's a current working against you, and all your stuff is actually running at 3.5, or even more miles an hour. Or if the current's running behind you, you might be 2.5 on top and everything down below is running at 1.2, and everything's down there just fluttering. Or if it's the other way, it's just cranking. And when I hear the downrigger line humming, I know they're working. Yeah, I've heard that before too, and I've actually used that. There's another old rumor I heard that you watch the bubbles on the downrigger lines. How are the new bigger inline boards? Oh, the Dreamweaver Ninja boards. Oh, good question. So, I'm happy to say I think I've fallen in love with those things. Um, yeah, those things they're good. I really do like them. And there's a skeeter. Um, you're welcome, Corey. You're welcome, man. Um, yeah, I do, and I know I love Dreamweaver stuff. Dreamweaver supports us, but if they're crap, I'm going to tell you they're crap. I'm really going to, and they know that, and I told them that. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is not BS. This is not snake oil. I love those things. And it took me a couple days to kind of get the gist of them. You know how the best way to put them on the line, the best way to take them off. But I'm telling you right now, I let a 300 copper out. I grab that line, bring it down, and I have that board on there. It's got to be less than 2 seconds now. It's just clip, clip, and I'm sending that thing out. And it's the exact sorry guys, mosquitoes. It's the exact opposite when I'm bringing those things in. I grab that thing, press the button, and they're gone. And they track really good. I was trying out 300 bigger coppers on them, 10 colors, 12 colors, 13 colors. I was running everything on them for the last, well, since I put that video out. So what's that, 2 weeks? And I love the way they run. They don't flounder. They don't. I mean, if you get lazy and you let your line slack, you know, as you're bringing it in close to the boat, they'll dive on you like any other. Dropping in midline. What do you use to tell the speed of your cannonball? We'll get back to that. Good question, but we'll get back to that. Excuse me. Just had dinner too. Sorry about that. Yeah, but yeah, they'll dive on you just like any other board will. But truly, when I bring those things in, they're tracking well. On the way out, they're tracking well. They pull really well. You know, if I was to relate it to something, it would be, you know, the walleye boards are fantastic. The TX44 boards, the big boards, they're fantastic. This kind of falls right in the middle of them, and they pull everything wonderfully. So great. And how are they handling the waves? No problem. No problem at all. Skip along really well. The Ninja boards are legit. Yeah, no complaints here. DW Products. Yeah, absolutely. Thumbs up for DW Products. Those guys, they came out with a good one. They truly, truly did. They came out with a really good idea. And, you know, honestly, I thought maybe they're reinventing the wheel on this thing. There's so many boards out there, and good boards too. I thought maybe this is like an avenue they maybe shouldn't go down because there's so many good things out there. Like it's hard to open a restaurant, a really good restaurant area, kind of along those lines. But boy, I tell you what, they work, and they work really well. So, what did the person just ask me? How do I tell speed? Fishhawks. X4Ds is what we use. Absolutely critical to knowing. We talked about this a little bit already. If you're just jumping in, you can go back when this is over and kind of. Are they smaller than the TX44? Slightly. Yep, just slightly smaller than the 44, in my opinion. And I didn't measure them or anything. I'm just going off eyeball. So now we're jumping around a little bit. Yes. I don't know what that yes is for, though. Sorry, guys. So yeah, Fishhawks, wonderful. Dreamweaver Ninja boards, wonderful. Yeah, so there you go. And going back to that, telling your speed without a fishhawk, man, like I said, technology, it'll save your butt out there. It truly will. I think if you went back and you talked to guys back in the 80s, and you showed them a fishhawk, said, would you want this thing? I bet you every one of them would grab that thing up in a hurry. Pulling 400 copper, no issue. Yeah, same thing here. Same thing here, man. No issue pulling those big coppers. And big waves, no issues at all. We did have a big steelhead break off one of our boats. We actually lost it on the weekend. Steelhead hit it, and I heard that reel start to smoke out there. And just at the same time, about a 5-footer came rolling through, took that board, and that line just popped like a 22 going off. And saw the fish jump a couple times. Board floundered. I thought the fish might still be on there, and sure enough, it slipped out of the board. So we ended up losing the fish and the board, but it happens. Yeah, it's one of those things. Okay, what else can I answer for you guys? I know the fishing report I gave you is kind of vague, but really it's going to be hard for me to tell you know, what's going on with that big north wind coming in tomorrow. And here's another disclaimer. We got another tournament this weekend. We got the Salmon Splash this weekend. Oh, sorry. And the big thing about this is we have two really good 333 scores in our wheelhouse right now. We won the 333 at the Manistee Budweiser. We came in sixth in Onekama, so we're sitting on like 202 points right now. The top boat I think is at 307. So if we put up, and then the second boat is like way below that. Not way, but pretty far below. 307 is a monster score. I think it's On Call that has that. That's just a monster score. Nice job, guys, if you watch this. But if we go out here this weekend, meat rigs, all your setups this time of year. Oh, definitely. Yep, definitely. But so yeah, if we go out and put up a really good score, we're looking at sliding into maybe. I don't know if the top spot's attainable, but we're going to try for it. But maybe get into the number 2 spot or number 3 spot for the overall boats for the year. Hey, thanks, man, Jeff. Hey, thanks. We should slide into the top 3, maybe even top 2, maybe even take over the top spot for the year. And that'd be nice to finish out the year as one of the top 1 or 2 boats for the year. That'd really make us, it'd be something. It's something we've always tried to do. But anyway, wish they would get the 333 videos back out. Yeah, I know. Wasn't that just a great show? If you guys don't know what he's talking about, Salmon Showdown was a TV show. They had it on YouTube. They had it on local television also. You can watch it now on Carbon TV. If you just search up Carbon TV, I think there's an app for it even on most phones, and look up Salmon Showdown. There's 7 or 8 seasons of salmon tournament fishing. All skeeters are up, all up and down the lakes. Herring strips or DW strips. I like the DW strips. Very durable, very durable. But yeah, Carbon TV, Salmon Showdown. You can watch, I think there's like 10 or 15 episodes per year, and you can watch until your heart is full of salmon fishing. We're even on an episode in season 7, and we had the absolute worst tournament you could imagine. I think we caught 1 fish that whole tournament. It was horrible. But it wasn't really good for anybody either. But we had a ton of fun. And if you watch the show, you'll see exactly what I mean. Even if we're not doing great, we're still laughing and having a good time. We're never one to get down and place blame on each other or yell at each other or any of those shenanigans. We're always just having fun, and that's what it's all about. If you take it too seriously, you're taking it way too seriously. Go out and have fun. Like I said, anybody can catch these things. Anybody, I truly believe that any one of you guys or gals that are watching, you'll be able to go out and catch fish. And I hope that we're doing something to help out on that. So anyway, we're at like a half hour. If anybody has another question, throw it out there real quick. Otherwise, you're always, do you guys use slide diver? Just regular deep seas? Good question. Typically when we're salmon fishing in deeper water, and by deeper I mean like probably anything over 50 feet, we're using our Dreamweaver deeper divers. Dreamweaver makes great divers. They track really good, and they hold really good depths. Anything above 50 feet, especially like fishing the pier heads, we like to run plugs or spoons on those things. We want to get a longer, stealthier presentation. We'll go to spoons, or I'm sorry, we'll go to the slide divers. That's when we use those. So that's a great question right there. Yeah, really good. So anything else, throw it on there real quick. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this thing up. We got 65 people watching. We got like 30 thumbs up, 20 or 30 thumbs up, and that's going up even more. Thanks, guys. What's the verdict on the Ninja? Covered it already, but I'll talk about it again. Love them. Ran them for the last however long since the last video. Love them. They're great. Thanks, guys. Do you prefer trebles or singles sidewash for meat rigs? Trebles, always. And a lot of times I tie my own. Hey, thanks, guys. A lot of times I retie my own meat rigs, especially the meat head part, because I really like high quality hooks. I really think that love the vids, man. Hey, hello from Michigan back to Ontario. Thanks, man. I really like high quality hooks. I think most fish are lost due to nice job on chat. Oh, thanks, guys. Really appreciate that, man. Who is that? Mylan, I believe. It's hard for me to see on my phone. I'm sorry. Where the heck was I? Oh, hooks. I really believe that most fish are lost due to crappy hooks. I truly do. So I replace most of our hooks and I love VMC Spark Point hooks, and they're getting hard to find. Yep, great report. Thanks, man. Thanks, Troy. VMC Spark Point hooks are getting really hard to find, but they are by far Will you guys be fishing the class? Depends on schedule, and there's no way. No way to know. Having problems with copper. What amount of line to bait to copper? Not sure if I understand that right. If you're talking about leader from the copper to the bait, I start off at 15 yards. That's where I like to start, and then if it gets nicked or what, because it's going to get nicked, it's going to get frayed. I'll cut back, cut back, cut back, and if I get down to like 20, 25 feet, retie the whole thing. That's usually my SOP. Oh, but hooks, yeah, VMC Spark Point hooks, yeah, leader. I think that's what he meant, Jeff. Yeah, leader. Like I said, 15 yards is where I start, and then so that's like 45, 50 feet. You're welcome. Oh, Jeff, you asked that. I'm sorry, you asked that question. Yeah, 45 to 50 feet is where I start, and then cut back like I said, when I get back to 20, that's where I retie. Thank you as always, good sir. Good luck in the tourney. Hey, thanks, Beehive. Thank you for watching. We appreciate that, and we'll go out there and we'll give it our best in the tournament this weekend, no doubt about it. Yeah, that's about it, guys and gals and everybody else. I think that covers everybody. As always, if you got any other questions, feel free to shoot me an email. If there's something here that you forgot to ask, you want to ask, or just didn't want to ask, Chris at Tangle Tackle. No, just Chris Tangle Tackle. I'm going on 2 hours sleep here, guys. Bear with me. Chris Tangle Tackle at gmail.com. Shoot me an email. We'll get it taken care of. And as always, remember these videos, all these fishing report videos are brought to you by Dream Weaver Lures. They sponsor this. In what way they sponsor, I don't know. I just like to. They're just great people. I love to give them shout outs every time I can. And so, yeah, sponsored by Dreamweaver Lures, dreamweaverlures.com. Check them out. And other than that, I'm going to sign off. Thanks for everything, guys. Thanks for the thumbs up. One more, Scott. Thank you for the information and vids. You're welcome, man. See you guys.